Hello, Community Church family. I'm coming to you from our makeshift office at home. And on behalf of the eldership team, I just want to share something of our response, kind of a bit of an update of our response to the current global coronavirus pandemic, particularly in terms of our response here locally as a church, what that looks like for us as a people, but also for our town and the decisions that we've made, at least in terms of the immediate future. Due to the most recent measures that the government have taken in terms of looking to stop the spread of coronavirus, we've made the decision to hit pause on all of our public gatherings, those times where we would normally be physically gathering together to meet, and we're going to hit pause on those until further notice, kind of until guidance changes and it's the right time to make a change there. That's going to impact on our Sunday gatherings, on our growth groups, on our midweek meetings, midweek events and different things that we hold. Just want to say we recognise the seriousness of the situation in which we're in, the gravity of that. But at the same point, with the decisions that we've made, we've spent a lot of time in prayer, we've spent a lot of time catching up, talking through, listening to what the latest advice is, being able to share those things together. And the decisions that we've come to haven't come from a place of fear. They haven't been driven by fear. Actually, one of the main things that we've been considering is how we can honour the advice and the guidance that we've been given by the government, to recognise the expertise that's come behind that, looking to honour that and wanting to hold fast to the wisdom that is in that. And so again, that's really been one of our main considerations in terms of the decisions that we've made, how we can play our part in that and in following that guidance. But then we also have been thinking a lot about what it looks like to love people in this, the call to love people. We want to love one another well. And we particularly want to love those who are vulnerable at this time, those who are in the higher risk groups. We want to do whatever part we can play in loving them well and in taking care of them well, and recognizing the need for following the advice on personal distancing and all of those things that we've been hearing and advised. We want to take that seriously, and we want to love people well through this. It's going to have an impact, again, very much on the way that we see church moving forward in terms of how we engage with church if we're not able to meet together. Been reminded of some of the words in Hebrews where the church is told to not neglect meeting together, but to be those that encourage one another. So we're in this situation where we're holding on to this call not to neglect meeting together, while recognizing that in the current climate, actually, we're not going to be able to gather together physically in the way that we normally would. So we've been having to think through the implications of that. We've been spending a lot of time talking through, again, what church is going to look like for us, at least in these initial weeks, as we journey through this season together, as we journey through this time together. It's going to be a challenge. You know, we're not to neglect meeting together, but we can't physically be together. But we trust that this is going to give opportunities for us to look at different ways of how it is that we can connect together, how it is that we can enjoy fellowship with one another, how it is that we can continue to relate to one another, trusting that actually this could be a season of real creativity, of ideas and new ways of doing things, maybe doing things in ways that we've not really considered before. So we're trusting God to lead us through this, trusting that among us as a body, there's going to be a releasing of creativity and ideas about the way that we can do things. But at least in these initial moments, in these initial weeks, we're going to be, all of those times where we would physically be together, we're going to be making the use of the technology we have available to us, and we're going to be moving a lot of things online. So there's still that opportunity to be able to connect, still those opportunities to be able to engage with one another. What that looks like for Sundays at the minute is that we're going to be sending out some resources to you, so that wherever you are on Sunday morning, each one of us is going to still be able to have the opportunity to engage in worship and in prayer and in God's word. So we're going to send through kind of a resource pack for you with some things that will help us in worship. We're going to send through a recording of the sermon, and also looking to have resources for children and families for them to be able to enjoy together as well. Not only that, on Sundays, we're going to look to have an opportunity where we can connect together online through a video call where everyone can come in, and we're going to be able to share what we feel that God's been saying through our time on Sunday. Opportunity to pray together, looking to just see if there's a way in which we can see one another's faces and be able to hear one another's voices and be able to share what God is doing. In terms of growth groups, again, that's going to be moving online, making use of some digital platforms that will enable us to, again, video call in together. Growth group leaders, we've spoken through what that's going to look like, and they're going to be in touch and will help to lead you through that. And then again, we're going to be using online platforms in order to help us with being able to gather people for prayer. We'll send out details of what that's going to look like to you. You know, at a time where it could be quite easy for things to be pushed to one side or just completely put on hold, actually we recognise the need, maybe an increasing need in these times, to really be seeking God together in corporate prayer, looking to have those opportunities where we can do that. So we would really encourage you to take hold of that. And again, when we send things through, please do really engage in corporate prayer with us through this time. Now, we are aware that there's a lot that we've had to learn as we go in quite a short time scale, and we really trust that we've heard from God, and we feel that this is a good place for us to start. But we also recognise that things might change as we go, and this could be how things start. But actually, as we learn what things work well, and actually there are things that could be better, we're open to being led by God, and aware that we might need to change things as we go. Not only that, some other things might kind of come to the surface and come through, additional things that we can add that will be really helpful for us as we journey through this time together. We've also really been considering a lot about the call that Jesus gave when he said that the best thing that we can do with our lives, the best thing that we can give ourselves to, is to love God and to love people. And realizing that call is actually to be lived out through all seasons, through all circumstances. And we really want to keep that call at the forefront of our not just in terms of our thinking, but at the forefront of our daily lives. Really thinking about how we can at this time be loving God and loving people. Loving people in terms of how we love one another as a family, as a church family. You know, we need to recognise that at this time we're going to be facing many challenges. It might look different for each one of us, but there'll be challenges that we will be facing through this. For some, that's going to be in terms of health, whether physical or mental health. For others, there's going to be challenges in terms of community, that are maybe feeling a sense of a loss of community, and recognising that at this time there is a potential for isolation and loneliness that might come in. There's going to be challenges for some in terms of employment and work. There's going to be financial implications and challenges that others are facing as well. The reason I'm saying this is because we need to recognise that these things are going to happen. And for us as a church, there are going to be these challenges that are going to be faced. But we're to love one another through this. We're to look for opportunities to love one another and support one another through this. And as an eldership team, we're really thinking through how we can shepherd well, how we can lead well, using growth groups as a way of providing pastoral support and pastoral care. But we also want to encourage each one of you to really be proactive in looking out for one another. Looking out, make use of whatever technology we have in terms of keeping in touch with people. Let's be proactive in doing that. Let's take the initiative. Let's think about who we can encourage, who we can reach out to, who we can get hold of, who can we call, who can we spend some time with. So we want to be doing that, giving one another our time, giving one another our attention. Mentioned earlier about those verses from Hebrews where we're told to not neglect meeting together, but before that it says that each one is to consider how we can stir one another up to love and good works. And so I just want to really encourage each one of us in that through these weeks, to really be each one of us considering how it is we can be stirring one another up to love and good works. It kind of feels like in some instances things are maybe being put on pause and put on hold, but actually let's seek God for opportunities to be stirring one another up, to be pressing on and pursuing and advancing in love and good works together. Was hearing from someone the other day, just sharing really about how staying connected is absolutely vital to family. And we are a family. As a church, we are a family, we're a people together. So I just want to say, let's look for ways in which we can stay connected. Let's look for ways in which we can stir one another up and be blessing one another and caring for one another. So we can love one another well, but we also want to think about what it looks like to love our neighbours. We're at a time where, again, a lot of people, life has changed in great measure and in many ways. There's going to be a level of anxiety and fear. There's going to be need that has to be met in some way. And so let's be those who seek how we can really be of good news, how we can be of assistance, how we can be help to those around us, particularly those who are vulnerable at this time, particularly those who are isolated at this time. So let's be really active in thinking about how we can engage with our neighbours, how we can help them, what needs are there that we can meet, where is there comfort that needs to be given, what ways can we be looking out for those around us. And the final thing really around that was just really been stirred by some of the words in Scripture that tell us to be a people who are always prepared, always ready to give a reason for the hope that we have, a reason for the hope that is within us. And just want us to really be seeking God for those opportunities, to be a people who are able to speak a message of hope at this time when people are asking us about that, to be ready to give an answer. And we know that the hope that we have is found in Jesus. And so let's be ready to make him known through this time as well. We're here for you. We love you. You mean a lot to us. You're very dear to us. And we just want you to know that we're going to be doing as best we can to communicate with you as quickly and as clearly as we can. We're seeking God in just an ongoing daily way, just trusting that he will lead us through these days, through these weeks. We'll keep you updated as much as we can and as quickly and as clearly as we can. We're going to be in touch with you. We're going to be reaching out, finding out how you are and how you're doing. But please know that we are here for you. If you want to get hold of us, please do. We want to support you and love you and lead you as best we can. So we'll speak to you soon. Take care. God bless.